Greetings. This is Peter Thomas, the General Counsel of NAAOP. I wanted to give a bit of an update on COVID-19, but perhaps not like anything you've expected over the years from the NAAOP videos. This is a much more personal report on COVID-19. It's affected me and my family in a dramatic way. On April 23rd, I was alerted to the fact that my father and mother, who were residing in an independent living, kind of assisted living center, had become ill. My sister took them out of the assisted living center and brought them home to my childhood home where I sit today. And here, a number of weeks later, after caring for my mother and father, as they went through and experienced the ravages of COVID-19, I sit here preparing for their burials. Both of them passed away. My dad on May 1st and my mother on May 7th. COVID-19 is a horrific virus, and it affects a lot of people many different ways. In fact, my sister Kathy and I, who stayed with my parents the whole time until they eventually had to go to the hospice house, both also tested positive for COVID. It was inevitable. We were right up next to them for a prolonged period of time. And despite wearing N95 masks and rubber gloves and everything we could do to protect ourselves, it just wasn't possible. And so we're now going through COVID right now. My sister is basically over it, had a pretty tough time with it, high fevers, some pretty significant consequences to it, but she's better now. And I tested positive on Mother's Day and am luckily experiencing only mild symptoms. A little bit of a hollow voice, a mild temperature once in a while, but not a whole lot of implications, at least not yet. COVID takes a lot of different paths with different people, as you may very well know. So I wanted to say something about my parents because there are no funerals, no wakes, no masses. My parents live in Long Island, Northport, New York. They've been lifelong residents of Northport. Bill and Anita Thomas were just outstanding Americans. My dad was 82, my mom was 80. My mother suffered from Alzheimer's and was really getting pretty pronounced. That's one of the reasons they were in the assisted living center in the first place. We thought they were safe. We thought that they were being provided 3 meals a day to their room. They weren't being allowed out to mix and mingle with anyone. I think that degraded their health, as I'm sure it is to millions of people who are locked in their rooms in assisted living and nursing homes across the country. But ultimately, they did contract the virus and paid the worst price possible. So we're hurting here today in the Thomas household, and I want to make sure that if you care to, I've provided a tribute to both my mom and dad that is available on the NAAOP website. You can click onto that if you wish. They really were special people, and I'd be honored if you would read that. Take a few moments to take a look at that and read it in their honor as a tribute to them. In the meantime, I plan on getting better and returning back to Washington. I'm in quarantine right now. I can't wait to get back to my family and my wife and 3 boys, and looking forward to returning to Washington and getting back to some type of normalcy. As the US opens, as your state may be opening, as you may be seeing patients on a more frequent basis, I just want to implore and kind of make sure that people have the message very clear that this virus is no joke. This is the real deal. And I understand and know people are hurting across the country, not just health-wise, but their loved ones may be sick as well, may have passed away as well. Economically, many people are hurting, and I know this field has to continue to see patients and must rebuild and get back on track. I just ask you to do all you can to make sure that you stay safe and your family stays safe and your patients and your employees, and that you do everything you can possibly do, including very stringent practice of personal protective equipment, washing down and disinfecting every single time a patient enters your facility or clinic. Just whatever processes you put in place, I just implore you to do as much as you possibly can. This is no joke. This is a serious, serious virus. And I know I'm preaching to the choir. Many of the people listening to this know what I'm saying and have experienced loss just like I have. But I do want to say that as we all reopen, we all begin to re-engage with each other, just be vigilant. And that's the message. Thank you so very much. And I hope you do take a moment to read the tribute to my parents. And I really thank you for indulging me in this very personal NAAOP video. We look forward to being back on the job and continuing to advocate for O&P on Capitol Hill and within the federal agencies just as soon as possible. Thank you so very much.